Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how I make 3D pictures like these. Actually, I make 4 types of them: Anaglyphic, Wiggle GIF, Cross-Eye, and Diascopic. Also, there's a link to an action file in the description that will help you automate some steps in Photoshop. So the important thing is I use only one camera, because you know, the cool guys, they use certain devices like double lens cameras or sometimes 2 identical cameras connected to one shutter button controller. And that makes them really cool, because they can shoot not only static objects, but more dynamic stuff like fire or water or whatever. But in my case, there's only one camera, and that makes certain restrictions. Okay, now let's get to the process. Just for the purpose of this tutorial, I made a sort of installation out of random objects on my kitchen table. Now I will make a series of shots, shifting my camera left to right, of which I will choose later only 2 to work with as frames for the left and the right eye. The direction's not so crucial, but doing it left to right gets it easier for me at some later stages. Also, before shooting, I will check some adjustments of the camera. The best option for the camera will be totally manual, because if it's not, you may get differently exposed pictures as a result, and it will give you more work to do later. If there's a stabilizer, well, in some cases it might go crazy while you do the shifting of the camera and make the whole view jerk from side to side, so I would turn it off. Funny thing is, in most cases I just forget to check these adjustments myself. Now I need to choose some reference object in the composition, to which I will try to stick to while moving the camera. Let it be the purple guy for our example. So I take a series of shots. Well, I have made quite a lot of takes here, but here are the chosen ones. So I do it in Photoshop CS6. And first thing I will do is putting the frames together in one project. So I will put one image as a layer on top of the other, and this is the point where my left to right direction comes into play. In my method, the picture for the left eye should be on the top. And I know I took the left picture first, so I just look at the numbers here, take the one that's called 9448 and copy paste it on top of the other one. There'll be no particular catastrophe if you mess it up after all. You'll just need to reverse the viewing method of the resulting picture. Now I can close the remaining picture with no save. I will not need it any longer. And second thing I'd like to do is some alignment of the frames, because if you don't use a tripod, and if you're not a robot, most probably some relative tilting of the pictures will occur. Now I will bring the opacity of the upper layer somewhere halfway down. Go to Edit, Rotate. Just move the layer around with the help of the arrow keys, so that the reference object comes in focus. Then drag and drop this anchor point here right to the reference object. And now rotate the layer a bit if it's necessary. I think it's a bit tilted, judging by the wallpaper pattern, so I will rotate it just a little bit so it stands right. I put the opacity of the layer back to 100%. Now I need to cut away the edges that came into view because of the frame alignment. To do this, I switch off the visibility of the bottom layer, select all, and go to Select Transform Selection. I prefer to use the Constrain Proportions option just for aesthetics, but it's not necessary here. Just get the selection out of the zone of trimming and crop the image. Do not forget to bring back the visibility of the bottom layer and make sure the upper layer is selected. Okay, now save the PSD project. So the preparation is over, and let's do some actual 3D conversion now. So I remind you that the automation file is downloadable from the description, and it may be helpful, but of course I'll go through all the details for the geeks right now. I'll start with the Anaglyphic style. You'll need glasses like this to look at the image. Usually they have the left red and right cyan filters. Well, I think you can find them on eBay, but I went old school, found this book of stereometric drawings, and there they were in the back. Okay, all you have to do in Photoshop is go Layer, Layer Style, Blending Options, and leave the red channel checkbox switched on, while switching off both green and blue that make the cyan color together. Well, strictly speaking, the reverse operation also must be done on the bottom layer, but fortunately that's absolutely redundant. It makes no difference in the resulting image, so I gladly skip this step. And that's all for the Anaglyphic style. Quite a popular one, but having some cons, you know. Obviously it distorts colors, and besides it's quite frustrating when you look through two different color filters for some time. So now let's save the JPEG and go to the next one. The next one is Wiggle GIF style. It will be an animated GIF image, constantly switching between the left eye and the right eye view. To do this, I have to switch on the timeline panel. Okay, it's already on, but if it isn't, just go to Window and turn on timeline. There's one frame here. The point is, I want the frames to interchange gradually, and that's how I make it happen. I'm copy-pasting the initial frame so that I get 8 of them all in all. Then I select all of them and set the timing of the frames. In my case, it will be 0.1 seconds. Now I do the stuff for the gradual interchange. Because all the frames have 2 layers, I just go through each frame at a time and change the opacity of the upper layer 25% each step. So the first frame will remain as it is, the second one goes 75%, the next one 50%, then 25%, then 0%, and now the interchange goes backwards. So the next one will be again 25, then 50, then 75. And that's it, because we have a loop that goes on forever. Well, I really don't think the GIF must be so huge, so I will now shrink it to 30% size. Now I will save it, but be careful, it's not save as, it's save for web right here. Now here are some saving adjustments for the GIF picture, but you just make sure the GIF option is selected here, and you may skip all the other stuff and just click save. Not bad. This kind of picture does not actually use binocular vision to induce the 3D effect. Instead, it uses parallax, so it will also be suitable for one-eyed people. Now what's coming next? It's the cross-eye style. I will need both frames side by side here. I go to Image, Canvas Size, and stretch the canvas to the right to 100%. Then I drag and drop the upper layer to the empty space. Now we have the cross-eye style 3D image ready. You just cross your eyes till both frames merge into one. As far as I know, many people just don't manage the trick here. It's like, you know, moving your ears around or rolling your tongue into a tube. Not very useful skills. Some people can do it, some people cannot. The next style is Diascopic. Actually, it's the reverse mode of the previous one. So I go to Image, Canvas Size, and stretch the canvas left to 100%. Then I move the upper layer to the empty zone. And that's it. This is also known as the VR mode or the parallel viewing 3D. So you either try to look through the image and stretch your eyes apart like that till the frames merge into one. Well, I'm not so good at doing this kind of trick. Or then maybe you have this kind of device, the stereo diascope. But it's only applicable if you manage to print the pictures onto film frames like these. Well, I didn't find a way to do that, but I found this. The Google Cardboard. So now I can view this kind of picture with the help of my smartphone. But then if you're a VR user, I assume this tutorial will be too old school for you, because you may be using already 360 degrees panorama viewers or something like that. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and there's also a link to my collection of 3D images in the description if you'd like to see them. Bye!